Hey now. So I originally was going to tell my first Grateful Dead experience story. Friday I was going to do that. And then Saturday came along and I slacked off. But finding out the news about Bob Weir passing last night, I decided I'll tell that story another time. But I wanted to jump on here and just give thanks to Bob Weir and the legacy that he's left behind, the impact he had, and alongside the Grateful Dead. But I mean, it's 3 decades since Jerry passed, and Bob carried the torch, continued the Grateful Dead music as an original member, and I just want to say thank you. Um, Thank you for doing that, and what an amazing life you lived, and beautiful music you put out, and just being that part of the other one, being that part of the Grateful Dead. Your life and your legacy will live on. He is going to be survived. So I was thinking, I was watching his last performance at Golden Gate Park, and it's the 6th year anniversary, and it's just it's it's like the perfect end of a story. um he sang Touch of Grey, the last song, and there's that line that says we will survive, and I started thinking about that, and I was like, you know what, we will survive, and we will survive his name. He is going to be survived by his community of Deadheads and millions of fans and family and listeners to the Grateful Dead music. Um, so they they were just such a huge historic band. I don't think there's another band that has that kind of legacy and that kind of following. I mean, they're the only ones that I can think of. They have the biggest following throughout time. They have generations of people that haven't even seen the band with Jerry in it, still going to shows, Dead and Company, and other offshoots of that. And then there's the cover bands and the tribute bands that they will survive the name of the Grateful Dead by playing their music. And there's so many incredible artists out there that will continue this music, and it's never going to die. This music will go on throughout time. And so I just want to say thank you to Bob Weir. And I was watching a video where he was talking about death, and he actually said he's not going to be sad. It's the sadness is for us, people who are mourning his loss. The Grateful Dead music has had such a huge impact on my life and a part of my life since I was 15 years old when I saw them for the first time, and I didn't know who they were. I didn't know anything about them, but I was fortunate enough to have a friend that grew up with one of the band members' son, and he gave us free VIP tickets backstage and everything. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Until I saw them and I realized, who, what kind of music they were. And it was ever since that show, I couldn't even tell you. I know it was in Long Beach in probably 87 or 80, 88. I don't really remember any of the songs because I didn't know any of the music. Probably the only song I knew was Touch of Grey, which was played on MTV, and it was actually his son, or Bill Kreutzmann's son, that was the one that was a friend of ours, or a friend of my friends. I didn't know anyone, but she was graceful enough to ask me to come to the show with her, and it changed my life. So I know a lot of people say that, but I've been a fan ever since. I've been playing, drums in dead bands, and I just love the music. It's like my go-to all the time. And I'm a punk rocker from California. Punk rock is like my main music. The Grateful Dead is awesome, and they will live forever. They will live forever. Their music will go on and go on. And I'm I'm still a fan. I'll always be a fan, and we've reached the end of an era. And not saying that they're all gone, but I mean the vocalists are gone, so um, that's definitely the end of the era. So, with that being said, I just thank you, Bob Weir, for everything you've done for this Grateful Dead and the Deadhead community. Even if you're not a Deadhead, or who knows even how to call a person a Deadhead, who knows? But we are united as a music community with the Grateful Dead. And that's a big deal these days, because there's a lot of division, and um, that music brings people together, no matter what your political background, your religious background, anything, color, creed, it doesn't matter. Grateful Dead music brings everyone together as a community. So all you people out there that haven't heard the Dead, you need to check them out, and you'll be a part of keeping the music alive, because it's not stopping.